My girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend, so I exposed them both in front of our entire friend group. I never thought I'd be the type of guy to have his life turned upside down by the two people he trusted most. But here I am. My girlfriend, Sarah, and my best friend, Jake, managed to destroy years of trust and friendship in one fell swoop. Sarah and I had been together for 3 years. We met during our senior year of college, and I thought we had something real. She was smart, funny, and the kind of person who could light up any room. Jake, on the other hand, had been my best friend since high school. We did everything together: sports, gaming, road trips. He was like a brother to me, and I trusted him implicitly. Everything seemed perfect until it wasn't. Looking back, there were signs. Sarah started acting distant a few months ago. She'd spend more time texting, but whenever I asked who she was talking to, she'd brush me off with "just friends." Jake also started canceling plans at the last minute, claiming he was swamped with work or family stuff. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I trusted them both completely. Then, one Friday night, Sarah told me she was going out with her coworkers for happy hour. I had no reason to doubt her, so I decided to hang out at home and play some video games. Around 11 p.m., I got a text from a mutual friend of mine, and Jake's named Lauren. "Hey," Lauren wrote, "I thought you said Sarah was out with her coworkers tonight." I frowned at my phone. "She is." "Why?" Lauren's reply made my stomach drop. "I just saw her at Jake's apartment. They're there together." I didn't want to believe it. There had to be some kind of explanation, right? I called Sarah, but she didn't answer. Then I texted Jake. No response from him either. My heart was racing and I felt sick to my stomach. The next day, I confronted Sarah. "Lauren told me she saw you at Jake's place last night. What's going on?" Her face went pale and she stammered, Yeah, I stopped by to drop something off for him." It was nothing. "Really?" I said. "At 11 p.m.? Why didn't you tell me?" She fumbled for an answer, but I could see the guilt written all over her face. That's when I knew. I just knew. I decided I needed proof before I accused them outright. Over the next week, I paid closer attention to Sarah's behavior. I noticed she'd get defensive when I asked where she'd been, and she'd constantly find excuses not to hang out. I also checked Jake's social media, and sure enough, there were vague posts that matched Sarah's whereabouts. Then came the smoking gun. Sarah left her phone unattended while she was in the shower. I know it's wrong to snoop, but I couldn't help myself. I opened her messages and found an entire thread between her and Jake. It was worse than I imagined. They'd been seeing each other behind my back for months. The messages were flirty, explicit, and full of inside jokes about keeping their secret from me. I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. After the initial shock wore off, I knew I couldn't let this slide. I wasn't going to quietly let them get away with betraying me. If they wanted to act like this, they could deal with the consequences. I hatched a plan. Our friend group had a tradition of monthly game nights at Jake's apartment. The next one was already scheduled for the following weekend. I decided it would be the perfect opportunity to expose them both. Before the game night, I printed out screenshots of their texts. I made sure to highlight the most incriminating parts. I also saved copies on my phone, just in case. The night of the event, I walked into Jake's apartment like nothing was wrong. Sarah was there too, pretending everything was normal. It was almost impressive how easily they lied to my face. Once everyone had arrived, I stood up and said, "Hey, before we start, I have something important to share." Everyone turned to look at me, confused. I pulled out the screenshots and started reading them aloud. "I just thought you all should know what kind of people Sarah and Jake really are." The room went dead silent. Sarah's face turned bright red, and Jake looked like he wanted to crawl under the couch. "What the hell, man?" Jake sputtered. "Why are you doing this?" "Why am I doing this?" I shot back. "Because you've been hooking up with my girlfriend behind my back for months. You think I'm just going to let that slide?" Sarah tried to play the victim, saying, "This is private. You had no right to go through my messages." I laughed bitterly. "Private? You mean like my relationship was private? Too bad you didn't respect that either." The rest of the group was horrified. Lauren, who'd been suspicious all along, called them both out for their behavior. Others chimed in, saying how messed up it was to betray someone like that. By the end of the night, Sarah left in tears, and Jake looked like he'd lost all his friends in one go. As for me, it felt good to finally stand up for myself. Sure, it hurt to lose Sarah and Jake, but they weren't worth keeping in my life anyway. So, what do you think? Was I wrong to expose them in front of our friends, or did they get what they deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.